Good afternoon. Thank you for attending our session today. We have a fairly exciting presentation, I hope, a little panel of two students who have completed our internship program. So a couple years ago, the foundation received some funding to go out and pursue internships with high school students. And the one way we decided to do that was to go with the tribal land offices. These land offices typically are good places for students to learn some of the ins and outs of general realty, land management, acquisition, and a whole variety of land issues. And so these two students we selected to come out to you today to talk more about some of their experiences interning in the land office during their summers. In the past couple of years, they've been able to do this and have submitted amazing work to the foundations, something that, surpassed our expectations, and we couldn't have been more pleased with the types of things that they wrote about and experienced. So, my name is Nicholas Simmons. I'm just going to be moderating this panel tonight, or this afternoon. I'm a program officer with the Indian Land Tenure Foundation. I work a lot with educational programming and have had the pleasure of learning more about the kinds of work that these two young ladies have been able to do. So before we get started, though, I'll ask them to introduce themselves, and then we'll go on to some questions. At the end, if any of you have questions, we'll be happy to take some of those as well.
Hello, my name is Winona George. I'm a part of the Yakima Nation, and I am a freshman at the University of Washington.
And I'm Renetta Tenorio, and I'm from the San Felipe Pueblo, and I'm a freshman at SIPI.
Thank you. So what we'll do first is we're going to just start with some of the beginnings of this. When we made the grants to the tribes, they had to elaborate on how they were going to recruit some of their students or potential interns. And so what I wanted to know first is, what were some of the reasons or a reason why you would apply to the internship program?
Well, one of my reasons was I wanted to be more active within the tribe and just try to get a better understanding from different perspectives, from different people, and just basically learning how the tribal government works in and out of the office. So yeah, that was one of my main reasons, and I just thought it would be fun. Yeah.
Well, I walked into the agency, and every corner I turned, there was a flyer for this internship. And I finally read it, and I was like, that's for me, so I'm going to apply. And it was a better alternative to a fast food job and to get experience.
So did you enjoy your experiences then? Was it an overwhelmingly good time? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, good. Fun. That's good. So why don't you tell us then a little bit about some of your more memorable experiences during your internship period? I mean, it's between 10 and 12 weeks, so you have all this time during the summer to be able to do that, and I know you have to narrow it down, but please do share whatever experiences you have.
One of the things I liked about it was we did outreach with the kids. There was a fitness center, and it was during the summer programs. There was fitness center, and there's different programs within the tribe. So we collaborated with the fitness center and had their kids come over, and then we went to the Rio Grande and we collected water quality data, and we just looked at macroinvertebrate to just find out how clean the water is, and we just gave them a little background of which bugs, I guess, indicates that the water is good and which is not. So it was pretty fun. I got to meet a lot of kids. They were like, I don't know, one of them fell in the water, and like he was pretending, I guess he was just trying to pretend to, I guess, like kind of drown or something. I don't know. It was funny, but he just wanted one of our other interns' attention because I guess he had a little crush on her. So it was pretty funny. I don't know, but yeah, he was okay. So that was one of the memorable moments, I guess, in the internship. It was pretty fun. I got to learn a lot of new things too from the kids as well. So yeah.
Just a few. So I was with two programs mainly. It was the Yakima Nation Land Enterprise and Yakima Nation Wildlife Program. And from the wildlife, I'd say my most memorable moment was working with a woman named Patty. And she was in charge of searching for spotted owls in the enclosed forests of the Yakima Nation. And it was really hard trying to find their habitat, and it was a lot of hiking. It was really tough on me, and the purpose was to make sure their habitats were destroyed because of the timber sales that were going on around, and to keep them safe. And we found one, and we were supposed to find four, and it was a female, and she was like 10 feet away from me, and I took a bunch of pictures. And in the Land Enterprise, one of them was learning about the lands that we own, and one of them was the Wapato Industrial Park. It used to be grazeland, so they would get grazeland lease, but then they changed it and made it into industrial park for a company to use. So it became production lease. So learning about how they made changes to, receive more money was pretty cool. We got to explore the company too. It's a plastic company, and they make the fronts for like buses and charter buses, and it was really nice.
Okay, so along those lines then, do you have any particular accomplishments that you're really proud of that kind of stem from some of your work during your internship period?
I guess just learning more about just the tribe, because I don't usually go out there and look at every single in department or just what they do to help the tribe in any way. So I guess working because my boss, she had us doing different projects. It wasn't just focused on land. It was water and then recycling and just basically helping the tribal members understand how our department helps them have safe water, and just trying to keep the land safe from plastic or just trash, stuff like that. So I guess my accomplishment would be taking the initiative to be a part of something that will change the tribe's future. And I guess just gaining different perspectives from all the other mentors that helped me and guided me throughout the internship, like Panu and some of the ACT staff that I worked with. They shared a lot of stories with me about just the cultural significances and just life stories and lessons, and it was pretty cool because I didn't know most of the, I guess the background of planting and I guess there's certain ways that you have to there's certain ways that has to be I guess, how would I say it, there's certain processes that have to be taken when you're planting corn, and at the end, I guess after it's hard, after when it's time to pick it, we have to, all the people that planted the corn and whatever that you planted, they have to go back and pick it themselves, and it's almost like closing ceremony and then opening. Yeah, it's something like that. So I guess just learning just the different ways our ancestors used to, like, how our ancestors used to live. So yeah, it was pretty minor, like opening. So yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So before the internship, my life was about basketball in school. And after, I realized, wow, I really don't know anything about my reservation. And it makes me think about other youth that are even younger than me who don't really even know the boundaries, possibly, because I've never been that far into the forest, or there are these nearby hills that I've never discovered, or even I just looked at them from a distance. And I guess the big takeaway is how many programs are out there, trying to make the land nicer and trying to get back lost land and keeping all the environment safe. And my biggest accomplishment would be, just as she said, being involved and learning, and it was really nice.
One of the goals of this program is to, get students, interns into the land office to understand those land issues, right? But it also sounds like that not only did you get that in your internship, but you also had a chance to better understand how your tribe works. And so perhaps, in your experiences, and if I'm wrong, please do correct me, that's a pretty big benefit. You got to see those interworkings, that infrastructure and what needs to be done, in addition to maybe talking to all sorts of different people about various concerns. So would you say that's right? Yeah. Great, fantastic. So in what ways have your experiences during the internship informed your career goals? That's a big question. I know that. But if have you thought about how that experience might shape how you see your life going, or is that just too big of a question that you can't even answer right now?
Well, before I was more into I've always wanted to become a lawyer, but I wanted to become a criminal defense lawyer. But then during my freshman year in high school, I took an environmental science class, and I at first I didn't really feel confident in it, because I didn't know that much about it. So I just decided to take on that challenge and just go into class and learn about the environment. And it was pretty I didn't at first I was like, what am I doing here? I didn't even know what I'm supposed to do, or I didn't even know anything about climate change or anything. But then my teacher was really helpful, because he knew that I wasn't experienced in all that, or yeah. So he taught me how to just how to look at different situations and basically do research about things that I didn't know as well. So he really helped me better understand how to keep the environment safe, and I guess it really opened my mind and my heart to pursue a career in that, because now I want to become an environmental lawyer, because I now saw a different views of how the world works, and now climate change is affecting so many things, and who knows, maybe in the long run it might affect tribes, land, water, and everything. So I want to be there to help my tribe protect the land and water, because many of those aspects is essential to our everyday lives, and it's really it's basically they're our core values. Yeah, it's our core value. They're a part of our core values, and it's everything. We're all connected to the water, the land, Mother Earth, and that was one of the reasons why I wanted to go into environmental law, because I wanted to be there to help my tribe have a better future. So, yeah.
Great.
At first, since I was in middle school, I really wanted to be a botanist. I don't know, I just I fancy plants so much. And then as I got older, I kept changing my mind. And then in college, they told me that it's normal to change your major at most 9 times. And I was like, 9 times? I'm on my 4th time right now. And I got 5 more chances until I have to decide, I guess. And so a member on the council from the Yakima Nation yesterday, actually, he came up to me and he was like, we need an appraiser. You need to become an appraiser. I was like, maybe. We'll see. And now that I look at it, and then I talked to more people, and it's just, it really doesn't matter because, see, there was these 3 people that I talked to at the exhibition. They're in probate. So I asked them what type of degree they had. And one said poli-science, one said marketing, and the other one said education. And I was like, those are all different. And so right now I would think biology is for me. And possibly appraisal. I don't know, I'd have to research more into that. My career, it just depends on the guidance that I receive and the experience.
Yeah, those are both great fields. You know, formidable attorneys or a scientist, absolutely. In an Indian country, we need some more of that. Certainly those who have passion for it. During your internship period, is there somebody, a mentor maybe, that seemed to really have a positive impact on you? Is that leadership something that you remember fondly during your time?
Well, I've always had a mentor at home. It's my father. He always implemented in me the different ways of how the tribe works, and more giving me information about being more spiritually in depth and being connected to our ways of life and our culture and traditions. And so he was one of my mentors that I he's my father. And I just loved how he how he helps me throughout every single problem that I face. And he was really there, and I know he will still be there to help me and guide me. And the similarities, like him and my boss have similarities, and my boss is the same way. She helps me face my challenges as well. And when I know I'm not confident in things, I start to doubt myself, and both of them were there to help me gain that confidence back, because I kind of get shy in certain situations, but then when I see their faces, I always know that I can do it, and then that I'll know that I will accomplish it. So it was Penny Stout, the director of the San Felipe, and my father. They've always been there and guided me.
I've had a lot of mentors growing up. Of course, one of them is my mom. I think she had the more being connected with your roots and staying culturally involved. And then there's this woman, her name is Patricia Whitefoot, and I was involved in her club that she had at my school, and that was more of a leadership experience, going to conferences known as Unity, that's held every year for the youth. And she made me really get out there, out of my comfort zone, and she made me speak in front of a bigger group than this. And and then another woman, her name is Elise Washines, and she has pushed me in education really far, and she wants me to come to her if I ever have any trouble with school, financial or personal. And I think everyone needs someone like that.
So, you've talked so much about your amazing experiences during the internship period, but Could you speak with us for a few minutes about maybe some of the challenges? You know, I mean, you kind of highlighted some of those, you know, throughout your comments, but if you can speak to it maybe to a further extent about, you know, what were some of the challenges that you faced during your internship and maybe how you overcame those challenges?
Well, one of my challenges was actually like being out there and like not being shy and being more outspoken. And one of the meetings I sat in with a Panu and our tribal historic preservation officer. It was about oil and gas lease sales, and that meeting I'll always remember because it really kind of ticked me off because they were talking about the land and the water as if it's something that they can own and take when it's not. And like it kind of I guess one thing that I can take out of that meeting was when Ricardo Ortiz, that's his name, our tribal historic preservation officer, he mentioned how like federal agencies should learn how to they preach how to trust them and how to what was that saying? They want us to trust them in what they do, and they like sugarcoat so many things. And when Ricardo was speaking in one of the meetings, he really got to like he really like pointed out the difficulties there would be in the oil and gas lease and sales and stuff. And like he was talking about how like they should learn how to practice their preaches before they even preach. So that was one of the lessons that I learned. And I guess basically, I don't know, just, I don't know what else to say.
Okay, so there were many challenges in this internship. First of all, I've never had a job before, so adjusting to these 8-hour shifts compared to school was really hard for me. And I would say that 10 weeks was not enough. And to like cram everything in, jumping from program to program, meeting over 25 managers and supervisors and having to know them by name and what they're doing, and being involved was easy, obviously, because you had someone to manage over me. And I had a physical challenge because I had just broken my arm before the first week of the internship. So that was one of them. And I guess just discipline. It was really hard for me. And also, because there is so many land management problems, I can't even count, and like just knowing them and not being able to fix them in a short period of time, it really it kind of angers you. And I really wish that more people would know about it so I can get more help. And it's really hard to just like sit there with the idea of it. And yeah.
So you both mentioned, feeling a little angered about some of your experiences, not because it was necessarily a bad experience, but it could be new to you and trying to figure out how things are going. And you had just a short amount of time in your office, right? And some of these problems are much bigger than 10 weeks, as was mentioned. But if you had to give some advice to your supervisor about how to fix one of the problems that you faced, what would that advice be and why?
I guess the advice I would give would probably be like getting more input on youth and just basically getting their perspective on certain situations, because in my tribe, like it's usually like, I don't want to put any kind of like bad name on it or anything, but like there's a lot of like tribal leaders that are like, I guess, I don't know if the right word would be like corrupt, kind of. Like, I don't know, I don't really want to say that word, but like it's along the line. So, and like they decide what happens and which program to run and all that. And so I guess like they don't get more input or perspective on how we think about certain situations, and it really kind of like I guess that's like bad, because like we're the future of the tribe, and yeah, like we want to be more active in situations, because then we'll get a better understanding how to handle future issues. So I guess getting more youth to like youth input on things.
Okay. Yeah.
I would tell my supervisor to reflect on the internship that I was in, because it was more trial and error, because it was the first time that our tribe has had this. And so the planning was a little sudden, and I think it could be more organized. And if she asked me, I would want to be in other programs that I didn't get to be in. And then I guess the amount of time that you spend with each program, some should be lengthened longer, some should be shortened. So to choose that, it would be which has the highest problem. And so we would go there. And yeah, asking the youth what they want to do is more important. You don't want them to do things they don't want to, and just make it interesting.
So you both mentioned youth, and I think a lot of us here in the audience probably realize the value of including youth in some of these decisions. But sometimes challenges in doing that are about how to actually do that. Do either of you have any thoughts about how we can include youth in more of this programming?
Well, I guess bringing more awareness, like actually going out of your office and speaking to tribal members and younger teenagers like me about like certain programs that they have and how they can get more involved, and just just getting more involved and being more out there, because usually they're just in their office doing their own thing, and they're not really like going out there to see or do things.
So you're thinking increase the visibility and what's happening and what's being done, right? That's kind of what you're thinking. What about you?
So, I mean, I only know what my parents do in the tribe. I don't know about other parents, so I would like to know that. Like I said, I've seen the internship from a flyer. Maybe a flyer would help. And like just simple words, like especially the counselors, students, the relationship with counselors is the information that you get is really big. So I think informing them, and then it would get out to more youth easier that way. And just schools, like we have a youth activities, and I would think if they contacted them more, because they have events that have over 100 kids or youth that attend every month or so, and just getting word out would be best for now.
And not only like what like maybe the supervisors, but maybe like some tribal leaders, like the council, or I don't know if they even have the chance, but like at least just making the effort to get it out there and to encourage people to be more active.
That's great feedback. We really appreciate that too. In what ways did the internship help to you both to grow, both personally and professionally? I mean, you did kind of talk about some things all throughout, but if you had to pinpoint something that really was important to you through this internship, that helped you personally, that helped you professionally, what would that be and why?
I learned what is to be expected of a manager. And as you all are here, you've gained skills that I have yet to, reach. And I think communication and leadership and, fast decision making is what I hope to gain. And I think that's helped me in this internship because I've witnessed a lot of experiences from, managers.
What helped me to grow was always having an open mind and heart while working there, because there's certain like there was a project where we had to look over what our past leaders did before. So my supervisor, she asked me and the other intern to have an open mind and heart, because our tribal leaders did what they could back then. So that was one of the things that really helped me grow, because I didn't have a biased opinion about certain situations and things. So that was one of the things that helped me grow. And I guess I would probably say being on task, because I'm a big on procrastination, and being more attentive. That's one of my problems too. So yeah, those are the things that I would say that helped me grow, and just basically having that opportunity or internship as well.
So if you can give some advice to the people in the audience here about some of the maybe some of the concerns that you would have as an intern. So how would you, if you had to tell your supervisor how to consider something, right? And you're telling the audience here as well, we want to have an intern, what should we know? What would you tell them?
I guess she mentioned before, expanding the time frame, because we can't really finish a project real fast without even evaluating it, each aspect of it. So time is one of the bigger problems that we had, because there was other projects that weren't finished. So I got the opportunity to for my internship, or through another grant fund, my internship was extended. I'm still working there now, currently, after last year. So I got to finish some of those projects. So I guess it was pretty good.
That's great.
Should I say something different? Okay. I guess knowledge about what you're doing first is the first step you should take. And I guess coming up with 4 core things to learn about would be nice, not 100, because it's a lot of information to take in. And I guess, there are jobs that the tribe needs, and maybe making sure you're exposed to, projects that involve that type of job. And yeah, it's just time. Just focus on how much time is spent on a subject.
Well, since we're talking about that, the time factor for a moment, if you had to choose the length of an internship that you think that you would like to see out of this, how long would that internship be for you? I know you said there that yours has been extended due to other funding, and so it's been a little while now, right? Yeah. So, has that been a good amount of time for you to really understand some of the issues?
Yeah, my internship has now been I think almost a year now. So I think that would be a good time frame, like a year, because like usually, like the tribe chooses governors for a year too as well. So I think that would be a good time frame because then you get to work with the same people throughout the year instead of like changing into other, I guess, yeah, because like we don't know what other people's intentions. So yeah, that would be good.
That'd be good.
I would say since it was during summer, maybe more of summer, maybe expand into 15 weeks. Yeah, I'd say that 5 extra weeks would allow us to finish our projects because were you like really close to finishing them?
Yeah.
Oh.
We had planted like cause we did a pumpkin patch for the San Felipe Head Start, so we planted in the first week of I think July or June, I'm not sure, but and then it took like longer because of the drought and stuff like that. We didn't have that much water too because of the there was problems with the ditch. So like I mean, like yeah, I guess it could be extended to that time as well because then we could finish what we started.
So I was helping with the pheasant, quail, and duck survey, and I did get halfway into it before the internship expired. And there were other projects such as like cleaning up a buffalo patch and surveying plants. And I didn't really, there was still more properties to explore that I didn't get to. And I think one of the most interesting ones was the properties that have, well, it's no benefit, but they have a historical impacts because they're important to our ancestry because they have stories behind them. And I'd like to know more about what other properties have impacts, such as there's a mission in White Swan, and it used to be a boarding school a long time ago. And I've heard this from my grandmother. She was there when she was a little girl. And now that I look at it, it's just, the mission's just there growing old. And, you know, we don't want to tear it down, so we're just trying to preserve it. And I thought that was neat.
So, you know, you both seem to like it a lot. You would probably recommend the internship to some of your friends, right? Yeah, like it was a good time. All right, good. So, you know, we have a little bit of time left, but I wanted to make sure that the audience had an opportunity to ask you questions. So, if they have any, that is. So, are there any questions for these two young ladies? Yeah.
Just elaborate a little bit. You guys are awesome, by the way. Congratulations. What a great program. What would you do? You touched on it a little bit, but what would you do to expand the program on the youth? You know, just last year and this year at the conference, probably the number one thing that I heard, even after our last session, was, you know, we talk about all these things going on, but the youth are like the future, and what do we do? And we talked that at lunch a little bit too. Are there other things that should be done to, you know, embrace and get more youth involved in the future for the tribe? By the way, I think you two are future leaders of your tribes, but it was great today.
Well, for my tribe, like one of the biggest problems is like, yeah, having people volunteer to actually bring awareness, because like like I said, some of the people that I worked with were usually like stuck in the office every single day, and they rarely had the time to actually go out there. So, I mean, I guess basically, yeah, just having more people.
So, I guess what age would you want to target first is the question. I would definitely go after juniors in high school because they're in a state of, what am I going to do next year? Where am I going to go? You know, almost lost. And I would take them and So you see, there's these workshops that it's called Camp Chaparral. And what you do is you go there and learn about wildlife. And I think something similar to learn about, the programs that are on the tribe. And not like an info booth, but putting word out there like, hey, our tribe needs this and you can be involved by doing XYZ. And
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah, here.
you can add on to it.
Okay.
Okay. I didn't even know about this until my daughter got involved, but eventually when I got here, I found out how she was selected, and I thought it was really neat. But for you, how could everybody broaden how they select someone? I mean, it can't be just based on intellect or something like that. You want to have a wide variety of how could they choose someone they know would definitely go into that field to help the tribe.
I think I got it.
We can both answer.
Yeah. Okay. I guess being passionate in what you do and wanting to learn different perspectives about the tribe and just wanting to learn.
You would try to pique their interests by informing them. Like, for example, in high school, my senior year, I did a paper on language, the Sahaptin native language of the Yakima Nation, and I surveyed the language class, and I was asking them to rate themselves on how well engaged are you in learning, how fluent are you, and I think one of the other questions was how would you improve for the tribe to learn their language more. And the feedback I got was amazing, and I was just like, people need to know this. And so I wrote about it, and my teacher was like, why don't you talk to someone about this? And I was like, well, I'll go talk to the language teacher about it. And they told me what they wanted to learn about. They wanted to know more introducing yourselves, because we seem to do that all the time. And I guess if it were to maybe survey what majors students are interested in and finding out who's actually interested in land management, or maybe change their minds, because obviously I changed mine a lot really easy. So it does depend on what you hear. Yeah.
Any other questions? Yep.
So I have a question about the future. So do you feel any pressure to come back and work for the tribe now that you've had this internship? And if not, why not? No, I'm kidding you with the last part.
You're gonna answer.
Yeah.
But go ahead. Do you feel any pressure to come back and work for the tribe?
No, I don't. I guess, well, in the beginning of the internship, I felt terrified because, there was so many confidential things, and, I tend to, blurt out things, and I was afraid that I might. But that was one of the challenges I faced for myself personally, was to, just be more, I guess, keep to myself certain information that I had, and towards the end I felt more confident because of my parents' guidance and Panu, because she motivated me, so I felt confident towards the end, and I think I will be next time if I do apply. So there wouldn't be no pressure.
Yeah, I can answer some. Yes, I had pressure in the beginning, but then I guess once you get like the right amount of support, you know, hey, come back, we need your help. It's kind of relieving. Like, hey, I can make a difference, and I guess the only pressure I feel right now is at school. I don't think I'll have trouble coming back. But not everyone is like that. They do want to actually leave the reservation. And I'm like, okay, that's good, but I don't want to leave. And if not for my life, at least for a majority of it, you know. And, you know, my family's there. I don't want to leave them. So there's that support that I don't want to, you know, leave.
I guess the other question I would have is, did you learn to hoot spotted owls?
Can you repeat that?
No. Did you learn to hoot the spotted owls when you were looking for them?
Oh, man. So we had this recording. And so
That's cheating.
Pat, she was the expert, and on the way up, it was an hour drive to get there, and she was trying to teach me, and I was like, okay. I could not do it. She was so good at it. She sounded just like the recording, but no, it was hard, but maybe kind of I learned that. It's hard.
Any other questions?
So mine's not necessarily a question, but I just wanted to let you two know, especially you that spoke about, you know, tribal leaders and whatnot, and, you know, you feel like they're not hearing the youth, right? I'm 27 years old and I sit on my tribal council, and I have since I was 25. I'm also the chairwoman of our lands committee, and that was a big thing for me is our young people weren't being heard, right? And, you know, it's just the same individuals in there that are pushing and moving the tribe, right? Yeah. And so I think it's amazing to hear you guys talk about, you know, wanting to work for your tribe and wanting to better your tribe and whatnot. And voicing that opinion is really, really important. So awesome job. Congratulations. Like that's awesome. Like, I'm proud of you guys. And I'm from a different tribe. So good job.
Thank you.